Hey there, welcome to the Pixelated Pearl, the podcast where we're going to dive into the world of technology with simple, practical steps. I'm your host, Sam. Today we're going to be focusing on giving your new life to your old devices using Linux, if I could ever learn how to talk. Explore your virtual machines and creating bootable USB with Linux Mint. Let's get started. So today we're going to ask the simple question. Ever wondered what to do with the old laptop gathering dust in the corner? I did Windows 10 kind of all but brick up your laptop you got just a few minutes ago or a few years ago, and now that you've installed Windows 11 on it, it barely works anymore. Um, well, there might be a fix for that, and the fix would be to change the operating system. Linux is an open source operating system known for its flexibility and efficiency. It's a great way to kind of breathe new life in old hardware. But before we jump in, I just want to say a quick word of caution. Always make sure you back up your data. Backing up means copying important files to another location, like an external hard drive, cloud storage, or something like that, to keep them safe. For beginners, I'm gonna go ahead and choose for you. You're gonna ask the question, I want Linux, what should I get? And the answer is, there's too much to choose. I'm gonna choose for you, and the reason for that is because this is gonna be your first step in a new life, or a new open source life. It's gonna be a little bit confusing. It's gonna be a little bit scary, but fear not. They actually made a distribution for people like you who are used to Windows, who don't really know anything else. And this choice here is going to be called Linux Mint. Now, let's say you have a good computer. Let's say that you do not really need another computer, but you have a virtual machine or virtualization software. I'm going to give this one to you for free, okay? This is VirtualBox. It's open source virtualization. What does that mean? It means that you can run a computer on top of your computer. The term for this is called a hypervisor. You can download it. This is what it looks like. When you get it set up, it's, I got Raspberry Pi on here, Ubuntu. This is what I learned how to do Linux on. There's another one that my friend named Dixie, for some reason, I don't know, he was playing around with it, but this is going to be how you do that without downloading a new computer, okay? Or getting a new computer. You can literally make a new one on, let's see. This is a Raspberry Pi. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a mini computer. And as you can see, this is an interface that pretends to be a whole different computer. It's doing a boot up process. Raspberry Pi desktop. Sometimes it takes a second. And see, here you are. It's to kind of give you an idea. I mean, Linux is just an operating system. It'll run if you want to go on the web. Typically, you'll get Firefox. Raspberry Pi has Chromium. I don't know if, yeah, run Google, play games, do whatever you want. I would say, oh, look, updates are available. I'll do that later. I would say that Linux is very cool. It's worth learning. It's a skill set that pays for itself. You can even get job offers with knowing Linux. It's pretty powerful. But another way you can use sandboxes is or a virtual machine is as a sandbox. basically you get in there and you play with it, and you can break it, you can build games on it, you can do all kinds of stuff with this stuff. You can people test viruses on it. They'll intentionally get their virtual machine infected with a virus just to see what it does. I'm not saying you should do all that, but I am saying there's a there's a use case for all kinds of stuff regarding that. That being said, right now we're gonna make a USB stick for my dad. So this is his USB stick that he gave me. We already have uh, Cinnamon. This is Linux Mint. Basically, how this goes is we're gonna download it. The size of this whole operating system is 2.9 gigabytes. Here is some hashing for the ISO files. So this basically says um, this file was not tampered with. You have an installation guide here. Make sure you do your research on this stuff, okay? Let's see. We're gonna go with Linux Mint. It's taking a while. I don't know why. So while that's going down, we're going to go. I want to introduce you to linux.org. And as you can see, these are a bunch of different distributions. Now, I don't know what all of these do, okay? But I will say that Kali is for hacking and cybersecurity. It's got a whole bunch of tools on there that come natively. You've got Ubuntu. This is means world unity. It's a very popular one to learn how to do Linux on. Mint is the for people who are interested in getting over to Linux, but they're not super invested in it. Maybe they're not used to how Linux works, and they are still kind of invested in their experience with Windows. This is the distribution for you. Arch is for super powered Linux ninjas that just know everything about it and can do this stuff. Now the whole idea of open source is the fact that you can make it your own. You can change all that stuff. Oh, actually, we don't want to open that. My bad. 1 second. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna plug it in my computer. All right, we have introduced the D drive into our computer. For those of you who don't know, your main stuff is always going to be on the C drive, typically. The D drive is a new drive that has been introduced. We're going to go to Downloads. We're going to take Linux Mint. We're going to cut or copy. It doesn't really matter which one you do. Cut if you want it to go only there and not have a copy, and copy if you want to leave it there and put it in that new file. So we're going to move that download over to this D drive. My computer is running real slow today. I guess I got a lot of stuff going on in the background, but to do this, I'm going to give you some help. Now this file is not going to be immediately set up for putting into this computer, all right? It needs some instructions to let it know, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing when you plug this into a computer. And there's some other things that we're going to have to do. I think that's going to be part 2. And we'll have to just kind of play with that one. But let's see what what the verdict is here. Okay. Well, this, for some reason, is taking a while. But in the meantime, we're going to download Rufus. Rufus creates a bootable USB the easy way. Now, what is a bootable USB? A bootable USB is like, back in the day, they would take a CD or a floppy drive and they would introduce it to the computer, and they would do this thing called opening BIOS, or nowadays it's UEFI. And basically, that's the thing that sits under your operating system, and it kind of determines what gets loaded up and the configurations of all that stuff, right? Well, there's a way to do it. Let's see. I'm going to try to, let's see, change OS in UEFI graphics. Let's see. Step by step with pictures. Look up your particular system and how to get into UEFI settings. With my computer here, you can do a couple ways. Let's see. This is a Windows cyber-powered PC. So you go to settings, and then you go to Windows updates. I need to update my stuff. Actually, no, you need to go security, actually. Privacy and security. Then you would do, what am I looking for? Recovery options. All right, so you would want to do an advanced startup, and then you would go to troubleshooting. Let's see if I can find that picture for you. It's going to look like this. It's going to say troubleshooting, and then you go to UEFI firmware settings. Let's see. Not command prompt. You go to UEFI settings, and then it's going to do some old school stuff. It's going to look like that. And what you would do is you go down to boot. Let's see if I have a picture of the boot order. Sometimes you'll do it like this: boot UEFI boot sources, and then you would go to USB hard drive, and then you'd hit that. Boot priority order. So you move the USB to the top one. I saw a computer the other day. You go to boot, and then you have to select it, and you have to change the option with plus or minus to get it up. There's a couple different ways to do it. And that way, when your computer comes up again, you might have something similar to this. Oh, here we go. So the boot order right here, you would move whatever you had in that USB slot up. And then that way, when it starts up, it's going to say, oh, you want to load Linux Mint. Let's see if I got this figured out here. I know I'm stalling for time. So I already have Rufus downloaded, and I want to tell you a little something here. Rufus 4.14, portable Windows x64. That's one you want, unless you're doing a special project. By 86 is the old school, old school, chances are you're not doing ARM64. But look up your device models if that does become an option or that does become an issue. Um, another way you can find out is you can press the Windows button and R, and you get this run key, and then you can type in MS Info 32, and that'll give you your system information. And this might help you make some decisions on how you want to run the thing. So I got 32 gigabytes of RAM. Most people are running 8 to 16. If your computer's running real slow and it's getting bogged down a lot, chances are you're running 8 gigabytes of RAM. 16 is a little bit better. 32 is really nice. I, did what I had to do to get that. But, Linux is going to be supercharged on this, right? But look, you get your times 64 based PC. That lets you know that you need to be running times 64. Not every computer has this option, but if you have a more modern Windows, that's something that really could help you out there. And this also could help you troubleshoot other things in the future if you're having problems with certain things. But that being said, so you want to go to portable times 64, download it. I got Rufus already. Go in here. Looks like we're done. Linux Mint Cinnamon. Hope everyone's still following along. So I thought I already had it on here. I did it the other day. Am I still recording? Okay. So now you got a USB drive property, right? You want to select, let's see. You want to hit select, Linux Mint, enter, or open. So now you see you got Linux Mint right here. If I recall, it's MBR. Let me double check here. I think it's GPT is the old one. Let's double check. Let's be for certain. So a good hacker, a good cybersecurity guy, a good technician is not smarter than anybody else. They just Google more efficiently. So, Linux Mint MBR or GPT. GPT for Lint is on almost all modern computers. Only use MBR if you're installing very old hardware. Boom. So legacy BIOS only. So that being said, we're going to go to GPT. Hit that. FAT32. Here's something you want to know. FAT32 is the file storage for Linux. Your Windows runs on NTFS, New Technology File System. Okay? FAT32 is what runs on Linux. Just keep that in mind, because if you were to have to reformat this USB drive to NTFS, it's going to wipe the system. Or it's not going to wipe the system, it's going to wipe everything off that hard drive to reformat it. But if you already have it in FAT32 and it runs Linux, or you run Linux off it, you're not going to have to format it. So you're not going to have any problems. Just an idea. Here is something you want to think about. The persistent partition size. When you put this on your system, you're going to have a USB or disk icon that pops up first thing. And it's going to ask you to install this. Before you install this on your computer, just realize when you install it, you're going to reformat your entire hard drive. So everything on there is going to get wiped. So that's why I said make sure to back up your data. If you have pictures that you're not ready to lose, make sure that you take them off that system. Do not put them on the same USB you're turning into Rufus, okay? It's not going to work like that. Use a dedicated USB, dedicated something or other to get that off that computer so you have your pictures, your videos, your family memories, whatever, okay? Make sure that you've done that before you even start doing any of this stuff, okay? Just a word to the wise. Now, Linux Mint is only going to be operating off this hard drive until you install it. Now, the install is not super scary, but it is something to think about. And in part 2, I'll show you how to show you how to install this, okay? But if you do this, you're going to hit start. The image you have selected, ISO hybrid image, means that it can be written either as an ISO file image or modern DD image disk image mode. Rufus recommends using ISO image mode so that you always have full access to the drive after writing it. However, if you encounter issues during boot, you can try rewriting this image in DD image mode. So I'm going to write in ISO because it's recommended. Warning, this is why I said do not use this USB to run Rufus because you're going to format it into a bootable USB drive. When you reformat something, everything gets written over. It's like when you were playing your old Nintendo games and your sister gets on and she plays Banjo and Kazooie and writes over your old save file and you don't have it anymore. Whatever that new information is what's saved on there. So just think about that. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Yep, that's it. When this finishes, you will have a bootable USB drive. So when somebody asks you, hey, I need, I want somebody to, freshen up this new old PC that I have sitting around. I can't really use it for much anymore. I can't upgrade it to Windows 11. I can't, it's so slow. I can't do anything with it. Ask them if they're willing to try something new. Ask them if they're willing to learn Linux. For the most part, Linux is no different than your regular computer. It's just the fact that there's a bunch of things that Linux people know that allow them to kind of turn their computer into their own little play device. They can do all kinds of things. They can write scripts that automate all kinds of things. Linux Mint comes with Python. You can just have something to learn how to do Python on. In fact, I'm building a game right now that's supposed to teach me how to play Python or, how to write Python. So all the things that you have on Windows, you can, in theory, get on Linux. I mean, the only thing is that Linux is open source, so people are always constantly improving it. They're always, there's a whole group of people that are coming in there and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm not going to bore you with just making you wait anymore, but there you have it, folks. This is a beginner's guide to giving your old device a new lease on life with Linux. Remember, technology is about exploring and experimenting. Don't hesitate to dive in and try new things, okay? If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the Pixelated Pearl for tech tips and tricks, if I could even talk. But yeah, so just think about that stuff. Just be careful with what you're doing. Make sure you back up your data. And if you need some spiritual encouragement, try the Prismatic Pearl. This is my Christian ministry. I released a video just a few minutes ago about the man in white that's appearing in the Middle East. If you think that stuff's interesting, check it out. Peace be upon you. God bless you. Amen.